section of Roar the Ganges. This is a book that one of our Sangis, Sky Guardian, has donated from his guru, Swami Tadatmananda, the author of the book. And he even flexed on me by getting it signed. I've got his autograph. I believe that's an Om symbol, which is so cool. I've never seen a cursive Om. It could be something else, but I think it's an Om symbol. But I'm very grateful for Swamiji in giving his prayers and best wishes for our Sangha as we read his book. It'll be made as a free PDF shortly, he has affirmed to me, in case anyone wanted to get their hands on a copy. You can do so for free soon. This book takes place through his eyes as a Westerner coming to Hindu monkhood in India. He is days away from his initiation into sannyas, renunciation, and he is preparing for it, studying, meditating, praying. I never did find out how the argument between Raj and Vijay concluded. Judging from the little I overheard, I presumed neither would emerge victorious, but I knew of Raj's tendency from our prior conversations and surmised that the issue was not yet settled. Raj sat toward the front of the group assembled following dinner for satsang. After our guru, Swami Dayananda, had comfortably arranged himself on a cushion, Raj was first to ask a question. "Swamiji," said Raj, "this morning I had a long discussion with someone about the various paths by which a seeker can gain enlightenment. I read that there are 4 paths: the path of meditation, Dhyana Yoga, the path of devotion, Bhakti Yoga, the path of selfless service, Seva, sometimes called Raja Yoga, and the path of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. I know you mainly teach the path of knowledge, Swamiji, but is it not true that all 4 of these paths lead to enlightenment?" The same question had been put to Swami Dayananda many times before, yet his replies were always thoughtful and patient. He began, "These 4 paths have been enumerated again and again: Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. People commonly say, like there are so many paths to the mountaintop, there are many paths to enlightenment." In fact, I made this very analogy earlier today. Let's hear if I'm about to get my butt whooped by Swami Dayananda. When I began my spiritual search, I thought this was true, but I later discovered that neither the ancient rishis, the seers, nor the traditional teachers ever acknowledged 4 different ways to gain enlightenment, liberation, moksha. Instead, they said, Jnanam eva mokshaha. Liberation is through knowledge alone. When the basic problem is ignorance, knowledge alone is the solution. We could say perhaps that many paths lead to the mountaintop, but on the top stands a temple, and the temple has but one doorway. "But Swamiji," Raj protested, "is it not being sectarian or biased to claim there is only one way to enlightenment. This view is not sectarian, Swami Dayananda replied. It simply acknowledges a fact. The nature of a problem determines the solution required. Suppose someone is critically ill, suffering from acute appendicitis. If I claim that surgery is the only way to restore his health, would you say that I am being sectarian? If I reject the use of alternative therapies like homeopathy, acupuncture, and positive thinking, you cannot say I am biased or narrow-minded. It is a matter of choosing a solution appropriate for the problem. Throughout the Upanishads, ignorance is shown to be the fundamental problem underlying our struggle for happiness. When the problem is ignorance, non-recognition of one's true nature, then the solution can only be self-knowledge. Then why is there so much said about these four paths? Raj asked. Because, Swami Dayananda replied, meditation, yoga, devotion, selfless service, and other practices are all required to prepare you for the spiritual journey. All these help you gain self-knowledge. Swami Dayananda went on to describe the role of yoga and meditation in gaining self-knowledge. He considered them sufficiently important to be included in the daily curriculum of the 3-year Vedanta course he taught in Pennsylvania. He even invited a yoga teacher to live in the ashram and teach both theory and practice. Good night, Claudia Sal. Yoga is an ancient discipline passed down orally from generation to generation until it was codified about 2,500 years ago by the sage Patanjali. This great seer composed a collection of sutras, or terse aphorisms now known as the Yoga Sutras. These sutras define a system of meditation based on a sequence of 8 specific practices. For this reason, Patanjali's yoga is commonly called Ashtanga Yoga, or 8-limbed yoga. Patanjali's sutras became the primary text on meditation for all of Hinduism. In the West, the word yoga is associated not so much with the teachings of Patanjali as with the practice of intricate stretching postures called asanas. But these postures actually represent just one of the 8 practices enumerated by Patanjali. Yoga is a comprehensive system that includes psychological theory, spiritual disciplines, and various meditation techniques. Its purpose is clearly defined in the Yoga Sutras themselves as Chitta Vritti Nirodha, cessation of activity in the mind. According to Patanjali, the goal of yoga is withdrawal of one's mind from all activities, leading to absorption in a state of oneness called Kaivalyam. The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, to which the English word yoke is related. Modern teachers often explain that yoga means being joined or united with God. But this meaning is not exactly what Patanjali had in mind. According to traditional commentaries on the Yoga Sutras, yoke can mean either to join or to control, and Patanjali adopted the latter meaning, to control, in the sense of harnessing the mind for the sake of meditation. The 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga are like the rungs of a ladder. Climbing to the next rung can only be accomplished after ascending the preceding rungs. Thus, its series of 8 practices constitutes a methodical system of meditation. These steps are: number 1, yama, the prohibitions; niyama, the observances; asana, physical postures; pranayama, breathing exercises; pratyahara, sense withdrawal; dharana, concentration; dhyana, meditation; and samadhi, absorption. Yama and niyama are the do's and don'ts of yoga. The 5-fold yamas prohibit you from injuring others, lying, stealing, sexual impropriety, and acquisitiveness. The 5 niyamas mandate cleanliness, contentment, austerities, sacred study, and surrender to God. Why were moral rules included in a system of meditation? Let us discuss that tomorrow. For now, we will pause our reading there for now. And I thank you, everyone, for joining me today in reading from this book, and for this Sangha today as a whole.